So it's been 3 weeks since we last talked. The Braves are 13-5, and we're gonna go over one great, one good, one bad, and one oh my god, I would give my left pinky for this to stop happening. How's it been going for you, Cole?
We still have, if we don't have the best record in the league right now, we have the second best. I People ask me like what's going right for us, and I honestly couldn't tell you. Besides, we have two players who are doing a really convincing Mark McGuire impression right now, and then a good bullpen, and then our starters are just able to occasionally turn into Greg Maddux. So, but that's it. I mean, it's not that
It
impressive
is
when you
it
think
is
about it.
funny that the Braves. I was telling my girlfriend last night before the Braves ended up losing. I was like, man, they kind of due for a loss. Not because they've been playing over their head or anything, but just like the swing of baseball. They've been winning so much, you kind of
Yeah,
figure they're gonna lose, and at some point they have to, and they did. But yeah, you look at on paper, you know, Sean Murphy's out. The Braves lost Ozzy Albies for 10 days. Uh, Spncer Strider's done for the year. The Braves starting rotation for the first 2 weeks wasn't great. This team should be like 13-10 or whatever. I don't know how many games like we played at this point, but they should be closer to 500 than they are. And then you look and they have like a 700 winning percentage, and like, oh, I guess even when this team struggles, they're really good. Um, so I guess we can just start by who's been carrying this team. We have two players. I saw your notes, and the guy that you called out is my honorable mention. The Braves are not hitting a lot of homers, and we'll get to that in a minute. 14 of their 28 homers, 29 homers, yeah. 14 of their 29 homers have come from two players. One of them is Marcell Ozuna, who has just had the most ridiculous turnaround in a career that I've ever seen. Like, I really, every day I sit down and I think, how did he pull this off? Not only did he redeem his image, which I think he's done a fantastic redemption arc on his image in general, not anything to do with how he's played. I'm sure there's a little bit of like he plays well, so we view him better. But he's getting so many compliments from his teammates, from writers, from everything, where you're like, okay, I buy into that. And then he's got a WRC plus that is scaring Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani came into the season thinking, I've got the Silver Slugger under wraps. And now Shohei Ohtani is having to try a lot harder. Marcell Ozuna is insane. I don't know if my words do it justice. What do you think, Cole?
yeah. So on the character front, you watch a lot of Braves baseball, and I mean, I wouldn't say clubhouse leader necessarily. It seems like it's a fairly democratic clubhouse, like it's the people's clubhouse. But when Acuña hit his first homer of the season in Houston, Ozuna was the first person he went up to after he hit it when he got back to the dugout. When Michael Harris hit his walk off, the most predictable walk off of the season, just for any team, not just us, by the way. Just, of course, we that was. I'm obviously referencing the game against the Marlins. Um, what a fun game, because like the first 8 innings were literally just the most like by the books Braves win. It was actually the first game I was watching with my roommates, and like when you're trying to get people into baseball, like you want them to see the good games, where just crazy stuff that you've never seen before happens. There's scoring turns, just swings in momentum. None of that. None of that. I mean, Reynaldo Lopez was awesome. The stuff that I care about was firing on all cylinders, but obviously if you're not really tuned into the game the same way we are, it's kind of boring. Like, I'll admit, if you're not looking for the same things that me and Mitchell are looking for. And then the ninth inning happened, and baseball just had to baseball all over itself. And anyway, back to the point I was trying to make. When Michael Harris hit that, Marcell Ozuna was one of the first people on the field. Him and Garcia. It's just he has been. I would say like a weirdly enough a father figure. That might be not the best choice of words. But it seems like he's kind of taken a role as like a father figure, especially to a lot of the Latin players in the clubhouse. And he's just done everything in his power. I mean, you see him posting on social media. I mean, he's hyping everybody up. He's just so supportive of everybody. You know, he had every inclination to just not care anymore, to be apathetic. And there was times like it seemed like that too. There was that one post-game interview where, and it could have been a language barrier thing. I don't think he had a translator, but I know obviously he's like a well-spoken dude and everything, but he just seemed very like not into it. Like he did not care. But he has made a complete turnaround. Again, this doesn't forgive him for what he's done in the past. He still has to continue to atone for those sins, but he's on the right path. As a player, yeah, I don't remember the last time Marcell Ozuna got cheated. Most of his outs have been screamers. Most of his outs have had a hit probability of at least 50%. He had a few like ground balls today, the Sunday game against the Guardians. He's working better counts. He's putting himself in positions where, he's basically forcing the pitcher to make a bad pitch, which is, as a hitter, like the best thing that you can do. His swing is still as ferocious as ever. It literally looks like he's trying to split the atom bomb every time he swings the bat. But he's been as automatic as a player can get. The game last night against the Guardians, I've never seen this, and I don't remember the last time I saw it. I know it's happened before, but I'm curious why it doesn't happen more. 10th inning with the Ghost Runner, they just intentionally walked Ozuna. They didn't even want to, which especially with our lineup, I'm surprised that hasn't happened. Or not. I know we haven't seen it a lot, but that's just how good Ozuna is. And obviously, bases loaded, no out, didn't get anything, but he has been just inevitable. Every time he's up, you feel like he's going to do something crazy, in a good way, though.
He's gone from a guy that, like, when I'm not able to watch a full game, but I'm able to watch, at bats here and there, he used to be the at-bat that I'm like, I can just skip this,
Yeah.
He's going to strike out. He's going to hit a ground ball that goes 105 miles an hour, but he hits it straight into the dirt. Like, he wasn't worth watching, to a guy where I'm like, he's going to do something. Like, he's much must-watch TV now. I can't put my brain around it still. I don't think I ever will be. I truly believe that he was one series away from being released. And I don't think another team would have taken a chance on Ozuna. No way.
Everybody in Braves country was calling for it. I was calling for it.
I'm not ashamed to say that. But he got on a broken pitch machine, and suddenly he was fixed. And he hasn't looked back since. And then the beginning of this year, you and I chatted, just in the first 5-10 games, we really can't tell what's going on. So you're making like small inferences. And the first series against Philadelphia, I think he hit one homer, but otherwise he didn't do anything. You're like, oh, is this 2022 or Ozuna or 2023? I was like this. And then he went off against the White Sox, and you're like, oh, well, it was only home runs, and it's the White Sox. And then suddenly, the next series, you're like, oh no, this is the same guy we got last year, if not better. He started to walk more. The first week and a half of the season wasn't walking a lot. That's a bit of a red flag, even if you're hitting the ball hard all the time. Just pitchers are going to start throwing balls, and if you're going to chase it, like some players on our team do, that luck is going to go down. Then Ozuna was like, going to stop swinging at this. And since we last talked, he's walked as much as he's struck out. That's just insane to me.
Yeah. For how violent his swing is, it's crazy.
It makes no sense to me.
The amount of contact he's able to make.
Another guy he kind of pep talked his way. He pep talked a teammate, and suddenly that teammate has gone God mode. Is Travis d'Arnaud. Going into that series against Texas, he had, I think you've got the stats pulled up.
Yeah, so if Ozuna is like the warm father figure of the Braves clubhouse, then d'Arnaud is like the fun uncle of the Braves clubhouse. Him and Chuck. They're both the uncle who, the first to take their shirt off at the cookout. So yeah, came in. Travis d'Arnaud is such a weird player because like you watch him swing the bat, and you're like, it looks like he's like playing wiffle ball. Like he doesn't really have much of a step. His swing is very flat. We've obviously talked about this a lot before. And then he just turns into literally like Sammy Sosa for a week. So yeah, came into the Rangers series with a 561 OPS, which is bad. I mean, for a catcher, that's like still bad. But it's like you can still play with it, especially if you're a clubhouse player the same way d'Arnaud is. But it's like it's a dead spot in the lineup essentially. Then he hit 3 homers. He knew that I was at the game. He knew that I was just needed a little pick me up that day. He hit 3 homers against the Rangers, and he didn't get cheated on any of these. I mean, these were all legit moonshots.
I think the shortest was 420 feet.
Yeah. And I mean, especially to hit your 3rd homer of the game and for it to be a grand slam, that was, I would say, in the top 5 like most raucous I've seen Truist at a game that I've been to. It's just one of those things, everybody, it's on everybody's mind. It's actually fun he's at bat right now while we're talking about him.
I'm like, please hit a home run here.
Yeah, that would be actually really sick. I'm gonna try
single.
to. Hey,
I'm
it's
taking
good.
it.
And I don't have to filibuster as much. So, yeah, came in, and now since that, he has a 374 WRC plus, which is highest in the league in that span, over 40 points higher than Alec Boehm. And yeah, I mean, he's crushing everything. His WOBA, ex-WOBA disparity on off speed is like pretty funny. It's only like a 30 pitch sample though, but he has like 1,000 slugging. But his expected is like 300. Or, expected slugging is 300. But absolutely crushing everything. And just remember, folks, this is our backup catcher. This is, once Sean Murphy's up, this is the guy that we're seeing in Chadwick Tromp's spot right now. And he's the best hitter. He's been the best hitter in the league for the last 2 weeks, essentially. So
I think it's funny. I know you just pointed out the ex-WOBA on pitches, but his overall ex-WOBA difference isn't that great, like greatly different. I think he's overperforming by like 15 points.
Yeah. He's either like, d'Arnaud's funny because it's like either he's hitting the ball 450 feet or he's like tapping a weak squibber to the pitcher. I feel like there's just been no like in between with him. So that's my great Travis d'Arnaud, future manager of the Braves, Hawks enthusiast, the only person whose hair spikes out of the helmet. He's got the little devil horns going.
That's like the most Filipino thing about him. Like
just how straight his hair is.
I tell this to my girlfriend that his hair is a very Filipino texture. If I just saw his face, I would have no idea. But that hair,
that's so funny.
Yeah. He's definitely a half Filipino man.
I'm trying to start because sometimes when it's sticking out of like multiple holes in the helmet, it kind of looks like a little bit like devil horns, and so I've been trying to do this. That's like the d'Arnaud symbol to me. So after he hit his 3rd homer, I was like, yeah, d'Arnaud, TDA. All right, so let's move on to our one good. Mitchell, who's your one good of since the last time we spoke?
I have to give credit to the starting rotation. I know it's been this weird limbo because, our favorite pitcher. But the Braves pitching staff this past week has really come through. I know Elder only went 5 1/3 today. Didn't look great from what I saw. I didn't see his whole start. Still only 2 runs. And then before that, the whole rotation, starting with Bryce Elder's first start, he went 6 2/3 innings, didn't allow a run. And then every start after that, you had the Fried shutout. Sale went 7, Morton went 7, Lopez went 7, and none of them allowed more than 1 run. In this era of baseball, it's just really surprising, not only just to get back-to-back starts from your starting rotation going 7 or more, but every single one of your guys going almost 7 innings.
Yeah.
I was really surprised to see that, and they all pitched really well. And I know the Marlins are the Marlins, but the Guardians are a really good team.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was saying at yesterday's game is that, and credit to Tanner Bibee too. It was really fun watching a pitching duel between two good pitchers, facing off against, at the very least, competent offenses. I know the Braves have had their struggles. I know, the Guardians 5 hitters like Will Brennan or their 6 hitters Will Brennan, but there are some very good players on both those teams, and like the Marlins are bad, but not every pitcher is throwing a complete game shutout against them. Like they're still, it's like I know it's just the Marlins, but it's still not every day where that's occurring in today's game. So yeah, I think it's still impressive. Even if the Marlins are probably one of the worst offensive teams I've seen in the last 10 years, and that's also including the 2018 Marlins after they traded.
I think,
or 2019 Marlins. Whatever. 2018. Yeah, they traded Yelich, and they basically gave away their entire team after the 2017 season. Ozuna to the Cardinals.
It's so funny that they traded all of those guys, and the only player they got that was a good return was
Sandy.
the guy they got for Ozuna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they traded Stanton, Realmuto, Yelich, all of those guys horrible. Ozuna, which I would say the worst of the bunch of those 4 players. Not to discredit Ozuna. He's had a good career since then. But of all of those players, the one guy you get in that trade, didn't they also get Gallen in that trade?
I don't think so. I will say, in all fairness to the Marlins, which is not a sentence I ever thought I'd start off saying those words, but the Stanton trade was a glorified salary dump. I mean, I think the Yankees knew, they're going to be paying this guy. I know even with the money that they were sending to the Yankees as well, they were still going to be paying this guy until it was this oft injured guy into his late 30s. And then we didn't know how, we knew Christian Yelich was good. We didn't know how good he was going to be those next 2 seasons. Just in defense of the Marlins here. Don't want to.
Yeah, we're not a Marlins podcast.
Don't want to throw Derek Jeter under the bus too hard, okay? He tried. Give him credit.
Man, the Marlins.
It's very underrated.
The starting rotation. That is my good for the past couple of weeks. Really impressive, especially when you lose your best starter and then you've got to figure out that 5th spot. And I know they have wanted to get Elder in there and they had to reshuffle the rotation. But I mean, you've got some old guys in there too that are no guarantee. Chris Sale has been awesome. I haven't been able to watch as much Chris Sale as I want to, but I loved how his start against the Marlins in Miami. We're damn, he was great. He was a dog out there. He got a little unlucky, but fantastic. And he goes in there and he's yeah, I sucked.
Yeah, he's got his mentality is so great, and I'm so glad that he's on this team. I was going to say, just to add to that, Chris Hill is maybe one of the most fun pitchers to watch, too. Even at his age, when he's on, he started the Travis d'Arnaud game, which kind of stinks that his performance got overshadowed because, we're talking about a World Series caliber offense here. He went 7 innings, 3 earned runs, and when his slider is good and he's able to throw it to both lefties and righties, I mean, the rest of the league better watch out because, we got it's I don't think we're ever gonna have Chris Sale Cy Young, but Chris Sale 2 starter, okay, I'll take it. I'm more than fine with that.
Yeah, I guess now he's the de facto 2, but he's not the headliner in this rotation. But man, with this rotation, it's whose start do I feel okay if I, go and watch a movie or go out and do something with people? I hate missing Max Fried starts. I've missed Max Fried starts, but I do hate missing them. Lopez, yeah, he's been phenomenal. I remember when his signing was announced, I was why are we paying another reliever? This is Alex Anthopoulos' kryptonite. And then He's like, oh, well, he's going to start. And I was like, that's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Wrong.
He's been something I've noticed that it seems like they've been telling all their guys is to, and this is something I think especially now with the epidemic of UCL injuries is, don't, if the bases are empty, like don't light up the radar gun until like there's a runner on first. Because, most of these hitters, as good as they are, will still swing and miss at a 94 mile per hour fastball if you locate it well enough. I've seen Lopez where, he'll throw 93, 94, bases empty, and then as soon as somebody gets on, he's like 96, 97. He's like back in reliever mode, essentially.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I was watching his last start, and I was like, man, 94, I thought he threw 98, and then, he hit 96, 97.
Which is such a fun way to pitch, in my opinion. Get the drama going, and then get out of it. So huge. I love Lopez's approach. I love Sale's approach. He's been doing the same thing. Like he's been touching like 96, and again, he if there's no runners on, he's not trying to. He can throw. He'll throw a 92 mile per hour fastball, and he's still able to locate it well enough where he's obviously not going to throw it down the middle. And as soon as somebody gets on, okay, like it's go time. Basically what I'm saying is that we need to collect a bunch of former White Sox relievers and have them be in our starting rotation. Lopez, Sale, Crochet is next. We're coming for you, Crochet. I know your numbers don't look super great right now, but the way you looked against us.
Get him with credits. Game changer.
Oh my gosh. We like the White Sox major league roster is basically our AAA roster. So like we have so many guys. Y'all want David Fletcher? You got him. You want Chadwick Trump? You got him. You want. I'm trying to think of other guys who are like on our on the Stripers right now. I keep thinking Jason Kipnis, even though I know he retired like eons ago. You want Jason Kipnis? We'll sign him and then trade him to you.
I don't think he'd ever sign with the Braves again. Did you ever read that article from 2 years ago?
Where he wanted a ring or something, or
where he was so bitter that Orlando Arcia was on the World postseason roster, and I'm like, dude, you don't play shortstop.
Yeah. No, anyway, that's hilarious. Okay, so my one good, we'll get through this one really quickly. I just want to give a special shout out to Marcell Iglesias. He, I think he gets overlooked a lot by Braves fans for what he's been able to do. He's never going to be the most overpowering closer. I even have in my notes here, you could argue he's the third best closer in the NL East behind Alvarado and
I thought you were going to say
Diaz.
On the team. And I was like, yeah, you could argue that actually.
He's a guy, again, the way AA tends to acquire his relievers, at least through trade, is, identify a guy who specializes in one pitch. It's his changeup. I know we've had a history of pitchers whose best pitch is their changeup, and it's not always worked out the best. I'm looking at Ian Anderson specifically here, who
Ian.
Is he rehabbing right now?
He's still injured, yeah. I think he'll come back in June is what they were saying.
Okay. He has not he blew the save. That was about to be the worst sentence I have ever said in my life. Having a speech impediment is not fun, folks. Anyway, he blew a save against the Marlins in the Reynaldo Lopez game. That Olsen error kind of dogged him a bit. I think without that, he would have been able to get out of the inning. He just basically let up 3 singles, and one of them is to like Luis Ariz, who was kind of the only hitter on the Marlins that whole series. But besides that, he's been nails. He's just been a very solid, steady. He's kind of like the tortoise in a way. He's not like, it was funny watching the game last night because it was Clase and then Iglesias was in. You see a guy like Clase and you're like, this is a guy who is like either going to pitch like one of the best innings you've seen in your life, or he's going to lose all of his command and walk 4 straight batters. Iglesias is always going to keep things under control, even if he's not going to be the flashiest pitcher while doing it. So I just want to give him a shout out. Been really good this year so far. Has like a 2.78 ERA. He's actually underperforming his FIP a bit. His changeup is like really, really good, and that's my good pick.
I also, now that we're on relievers, I do love that Iglesias is probably our third best reliever, but Snit thinks he's a closer, so he's a closer, and that works out really well for the Braves because they use their best arms in higher leverage situations, and then they hit you with Iglesias, and he shuts it down normally. Yeah, I agree with you on the Marlins blown save. I was like, you can't really blame him for blowing a save when Matt Olson kicks it into the dugout in the camera well.
Yeah.
But yeah, on relievers, quick shout out to Joe Jimenez, who might be the best reliever in baseball.
He's been so good.
Point.
Yeah, he has been so good.
Last night was so infuriating because I'm like, man, 30-mile-an-hour singles just doesn't do him justice. Hated him getting an earned run on that. All right, we are in the bad. In a sense, my bad isn't even that bad. The Braves still have a great offense, but I love ball go boom, and the Braves have not been ball going boom. As I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, d'Arnaud and Ozuna have half the team's home runs. Acuña, Riley, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine saying that at the beginning of the month, to be honest. Olsen, Riley, and Acuña combined last season for 132 home runs. And that's not just, Olsen doing the heavy lifting with the 54. Riley had 37. Acuña had 41. And I bet as I'm speaking this, Austin Riley's going to hit a home run to end the game. This year they have 6. Olsen has 3. Riley has 2. Acuña has 1. I don't know. It's hard for me to fathom that this team... They're still getting runs. They're still scoring. That is ball game. Thank God. But
I'm still behind.
The home runs are just not there, and it's I don't know. It's weird because I don't feel, aside from a few of these at bats today, that they're just missing.
Well, nice. Well, that's where you're mistaken, Mitchell, because this is actually the year of the double. I don't know if anybody has told you, but
I was not informed.
We do lead the league coming into Sunday. We do lead the league in doubles with 66, over the Dodgers. So again,
and they have the cheat code
still a much better
Freeman.
team. Yeah. So I actually am of the opinion that we shouldn't worry about the lack of home run power because we have the absolute surplus of doubles power, and I'm going full force into it. Let's look at our doubles leaders right now. We got, you said Albies, and also Albies missed 10 days too. But let's see what we got. We got RC with 9 doubles. Come on, that's the guy. That's someone who we both were skeptical of coming into the season.
Have you
Matt
seen
Olson
his
with 8. Matt Olson, yeah, it's like 200. It's like really bad, but I don't believe that when it comes to Arcia. I think he's just a special player. You know what? Matt Olson, Austin Riley tied with 8. They're selling out their home run power for doubles power. So I'm not worried about them at all. Matt Olson's just trying to do what Freddie Freeman. He's trying to do the whole Freddie Freeman thing, which is okay. We get it. You know what? He came in. He was the good guy for us after our breakup. He brought in the flowers. Hit 54 homers for us. But now he's like, he kind of sees what Freddie's doing on the West Coast. He's like, I want to try that. Let me see if I can kind of remind them a little bit. They were looking at all the hype that the Dodgers were getting coming into the season. It's like, I'm going to do what Freddie does, but better. Austin Riley with 8.
To go to the clubhouse attendant and just be like, hey, give me that number 5. Give me Olsen number 5.
Give me some veneers and give me that number 5, please. That would look so odd. Yeah, no, I mean, come on. We got Luis Guillermo with 2 doubles. Jared Kelenic, no homers. Doesn't matter. He has 3 doubles on the season. So I'm not too worried about the lack of home run power because we are we're trying something new this season, and I'm for it. Doubles are more exciting. It's keeps the rally going. It doesn't kill a rally. Home runs kill the rally. Like once you get 2 runners on, you hit a 3-run bomb. It's like, okay, that's it. Double, you keep going. Like there's always going to be a constant
I personally
churn.
against the Rangers, if Darno had hit a 3-run double instead of that grand slam.
Yeah, for his third double of the game. Like the 7th catcher ever to have 2-3 double games. Like that's more. I bet you there were more fun names on that list. Like Johnny Bench, come on, like Gary Carter. Like those are dudes that like
Johnny Benches these days.
Yeah, those are dudes that your dad cared about. I bet you he would have been on a list with like Ryan Domit. So that's my counter. Anyway, we got 4 minutes left here. We're just gonna go ahead, take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll do my bad, and then both of our oh my god, I'd give my left pinky to make this stop. So please stay with us. And we'll see you on the other side. Cool. And we are back. Okay. And we are back. It's April 28th. The Braves just walked off against the Guardians. Just a good old Braves Sunday walk-off. This is 100% anecdotal, but I would love to see which team in the last 5 years has the most walk-offs on Sundays. And I would bet you the Braves are top 5 at least.
The Braves do seem to walk off on Sundays a lot.
I'm pretty sure the Max Fried walk off was
definitely a Sunday.
It was 4th of July, and it definitely was a very Sunday feeling 4th of July.
Yeah, that was definitely
the
Sunday.
Michael Harris against the Orioles. This one.
One of my favorite is I think it's outside the 5-year span, but I remember the Braves were down like 7-1 against the Marlins.
Marlins, 2018. Yep,
I'm gonna
Dansby
go
Swanson.
up to DC. I'm gonna hang out with my friend. All singles.
That was funny because I remember I was working. I used to work Sundays at Mellow Mushroom. There's a guy who came in, and he was watching the game, and he was. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen an angrier man in my life. I mean, he was just so angry watching the Braves, especially losing the Marlins, like a team like we should win. And this was early in the season. I think it was around the same time, like this year, like April, May, where we still didn't fully know if the Braves were a good team or not. Like we were still kind of teetering between like, oh, they're good. This is like the start of the window, or like, oh no, this is a flash in the pan. Like it's going to be 2017 all over again, or the last, like 3 years all over again. And I remember he's watching this game. He's yelling at the TV. He's like he's the only patron we have in this restaurant, and he leaves. And as soon as he leaves, the comeback starts. And if I ever see that guy, that Mellow Mushroom again, I'm telling him to leave. If he's watching the Braves, I'm telling him to leave because he is bad. He's a bad omen, that man. I get it. I get angry sometimes watching Braves great games, but like never like by myself at a restaurant yelling at a TV where only the employees can hear me. Angry, just insane. Anyway, so my one bad is, so this one I didn't know whether to put it because I want to put it actually in the worst category, but then I was actually looking at the starts. I'm like, okay, well it's not actually that bad. There's some positive here, but it's not good. I just wanted to take a quick snapshot of it, and to me, it's more. If there's one outlier, but if you include that outlier, the number of runs given up per start, not great. I would say the spot starters in Strider's, what would have been Strider's spot, and this isn't a perfect science. Obviously, if we had Strider, it would have been on different days, but this just would have been Strider's turn in the rotation. These are the amount of runs given up by the spot starters who are essentially covering Strider's turn. 16, really bad. It was against the Mets. That was a weird game. It was a Wednesday day game against the Mets. I think like everybody was hungover. I don't know if was it somebody's birthday, because the team was playing like they were hungover. It was also a 12:30 start, and it got pushed back due to rain. I don't know if like I have a theory that the players didn't realize how early the game was, and like I'm not saying Snit, said, hey, no batting practice today, but maybe because the game was so early, Snit was like, no batting practice today, or like, no, you can just show up to the field, get suited up, and play. And I think the players thought that they had to be there at like 12 instead of the game starting at 12:30. And I think they were, I literally, they, how do I describe it? They played like they slept in when they were supposed to be there for a morning shift. Not good though. Then Darius Vines comes in, allows one earned run against the Astros. The Astros, it's so funny because when we swept that game, the Astros having a really bad season. When we swept them that game, I don't think we realized how bad their season was going to get after that series.
Absolutely.
They got swept by the Cubs this week. They beat the Rockies. It was the Rockies in Mexico
Rockies
too.
In Mexico.
Yeah, but it felt a lot more impressive in the moment, and I think as more time goes by, that series has been looking less and less impressive because it seems like everybody and their mother is sweeping the Astros these days. And 6 earned runs. That was also Darius Vines. And that was the entire game, by the way. I think Darius allowed 4 runs that game. It was Sunday Night Baseball. And to me, that was something, if Strider was pitching that game, especially Sunday Night Baseball, we would have taken that. I don't think, Darius was ready to face an offense on the level of the Rangers. And then Bryce Elder did not allow a run in 6 2/3 against the Marlins, which was really good. Was really, really good. Maybe we're going to give Bryce Elder he looked fairly all right against the Guardians today. I mean, he allowed a lot of base runners, a lot of walks, which, if that's an issue for him, that's a huge issue because that's one of the parts of his game that he does need to control. It's just he doesn't have much more to bail him out in those situations. So it hasn't been awful. There's been some positives, but when I could see it getting ugly as the season goes on. What were your thoughts?
I still don't trust Bryce Elder. For a guy like Elder, he has to control the ball, and I don't know what to make of the Guardians. They're a really good team. I firmly believe they're a really good team, but I think they're a really good team because they know how to pitch. Like, this is a pitching machine, not necessarily an offense machine. They've got J-Ram. They've got Stephen Kwan.
Got Naylor. The Naylors.
I'm not sold on Josh Naylor being great. I think he's decent.
I'm sold on him being basically the GOAT against right-handed pitching, but then being Jeff Mathis against left-handed pitching. Even though he did hit a double off of Dylan Lee last night, which was very infuriating.
The 2 teams Elder's got to face so far are the Marlins and the Guardians, who, no discredit to the Guardians, they are a good team. But offense isn't what they're known for. I'd like to see Elder against, like, the Phillies.
Yeah.
Where
this weekend,
he's not going to get away with a bunch of walks against the Phillies.
It's going to be interesting to see how Snicker lines up the pitching this week. We're doing a West Coast trip, going to the Pacific, and we're facing against the Mariners. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, technically, spot starter is going to be due up against the Dodgers. We'll see if he shuffles the rotation around a bit. Try to line up Mr. Fried, Morton, and Sale, or I guess you can say even Fried, Lopez, and Sale. Just kind of a crazy that's our 1, 2, 3. Like, I'm not necessarily mad about it, but it is going to be interesting to see when we go through a tough stretch where we actually do have to face some really good offenses. Just looking at the schedule here. Well, it's kind of funny how many teams in the league like don't really have. Well, I forget the Brewers' offense is good, apparently, but it will be
They're
interesting to
carried
see.
by Wild Billy Bombs. I'm
Yep.
so happy for him, but I'm kind of bummed that we don't get to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not like
Uh,
Sean Murphy's done anything for us.
yeah, bust. But yeah, it looks like the Mariners, we missed both Gilbert and Kirby, so that's a blessing.
Actually, I just like seeing Kirby pitch. That makes me sad.
Kirby is so
I'm
good.
I love
I
Kirby.
haven't seen him
I'm a
pitch that
huge
much,
Kirby
but
believer.
I look at his stat lines. I go, "There's no way he doesn't walk batters. There's no
Yeah.
way." A
It's so
nine,
fun. Like it's so fun.
striking out a batter an inning, no walks ever, blows my mind.
Yeah. He's so fun. Like when he reaches a 3 strike count, it's literally like watching a trapeze artist scale like 2 buildings. Like it's just defiant the way he pitches. But that's my bad. So now we're gonna move on to the oh my god, I'd give my left pinky to make this stop. Mitchell, how are you gonna make this stop?
It's funny. It's funny that he decided to walk off the Braves today. But Austin Riley did come into this game with a 90 WRC plus. Matt Olson came into this game with a 103 WRC plus. These guys are way too good to be struggling this far into the season. It's a month, but still, it's they should be getting to the point where they're close to their norms. They are underperforming their expected stats, but it's not a huge gap. 30 points is still, it's big, but if they hit even with their expected stats, they're still below their normal productions. And just watching their at bats sometimes. I know Olsen hit the ball hard a few nights ago where he had nothing to show for it. It was after his golden sombrero. And then Riley hit the ball hard last night and today. But before that, and it's going to be so funny when we talk in 2 weeks and suddenly, they hit 4 home runs apiece and
Each series.
I look stupid. Each series. They just haven't looked like themselves. It's frustrating to watch. Acuña, I would put up here as well, except he's still walking a bunch and hitting singles. Like his performance has not been great, but it's slightly better. So I guess he gets a shout out here too. It's tough to watch. I don't know.
In the last week, I've seen Austin Riley hit 3 balls that in August are homers. It's been a little bit colder here in Atlanta than it normally is in in April. I'm less worried about Riley. He's at this point, we can safely say he's a notoriously slow starter. I think we have enough just kind of seasons from him. I mean, we could say 2021, slow start, even though back then it was like, oh, this guy's just a bust. 22, I mean, he came out of the gate in 22, but then 23, he was kind of not this bad, but like he wasn't lighting the world on fire. I'm waiting for the calendar to turn to July and him to turn into Hank Aaron. Matt Olson, I'm a little worried about. Something I noticed with his swing earlier in the season, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong because he started out really hot. He's not. He seems like he's bailing out of pitches like mid swing. Like it looks like he's trying to take everything the opposite field in a way. Like it's really weird. And I'm gonna go back. I want to go back and look at a swing from last year compared to a swing this year, but it just looks like his body is contorting away from the pitch instead of driving into it like he was last year. And it doesn't, to go from like a really strong point to a very silly point that your mom would make. Like he doesn't look like a power hitter. Like he's not swinging like a guy who's trying to hit for power right now. He looks like a guy who's trying to hit opposite field singles. And
kind of reminded me of
something.
Go ahead.
What are you saying?
I was just gonna say it kind of reminds me of when he first came to Atlanta. He was hitting so many singles.
Yeah. And it's something I noticed at the beginning of the year, and I didn't. But he was doing well, so I didn't want to seem like I was being negative or like, oh, it's fine. I guess this approach is working. But now it's like, okay, well, he's struggling a bit. So it just seems like he's opening himself up more. The way Matt Olson is, like, he's going to have holes in his swing. Like, there's just going to be points where you can attack him, and most likely you're going to win that battle. It just seems like he's opening up more vulnerabilities in his swing just the way he's doing it this year. So I'm a little more worried about him. Riley, I think, is going to be fine. And I think they're both going to be fine. I don't want it to seem like that, I think Matt Olson's a 103 WRC plus guy, but I would bet on Austin Riley bouncing back before Matt Olson. That's my lock of the week.
See, with Olson, I never see him, like, the hot or cold streaks coming. They just boom.
Yeah.
Like, with Riley, you can kind of see it build up. I think we might have seen that today. With Olson, he might be horrible for a 2-week span like he was last year when he was trying to, like, I think it was late August, early September, where he just couldn't hit a home run for some reason. And then suddenly, bam, he was back in. And there was no, like, telltale sign.
He needs he needs Ozuna to give him the same advice that I gave Ozuna last year. Because I don't know if you remember, Olsen hit a little bit of a snag in like May, June of last year before going off, and he credits it to Marcell Ozuna giving him some advice, just noticing something with his swing. And then obviously Ozuna struggled in July, and I saw him at my local Kroger, and I said, hey, see ball, hit ball. And, then he went off. So now I think Ozuna needs to go to Olsen and say, hey, see ball, hit ball. Just this random kid at Kroger told me that. And then Matt Olson's going to go off.
See, how I remember that story going is you grabbed one of the oranges in his basket or cart and you went, imagine a baseball is this size. Now hit the ball.
And this color too.
This color too.
Like,
and ever since then, he's been seeing oranges. Bundles of oranges. Yeah, I agree that not Ozuna, he's been great. Olsen and Riley are going to get out of it eventually. It's just frustrating to watch because they can be better. Same with Acuña. I guess I'm lumping him in.
And just from like a very, thinking of baseball is kind of like this giant board game. Having your 3 and 4 hitters putting up the numbers that they do just severely cap what your offense is able to do on a given night. Like, the reason we're getting shut out into the 7th inning is because, if we get a runner on and then we have 2 either free outs or, the best they're going to do is walk, it just, you want to do the whole, run scoring matrix. It just, those odds of scoring and putting up a big inning go down.
Yeah,
which,
and
it's
flipping
just,
the lineup is very important. The more base runners you have, the more you can flip it over.
Yeah.
All right, that's my one. Oh my God, I've got to make the stop. I don't think I'm willing to give up my small little pinkies, but I do want it to stop. And I can see them going to Seattle, hitting a bunch of bombs in that weird park, and suddenly I look stupid, which wouldn't be the first time.
We'll see. It's so interesting. I think this is the earliest the Braves have ever played in Seattle, because interleague play when it was before the Astros joined the AL, it was always in June. And obviously we only went to Seattle like once every 6 years or something like that, or once every 3 years. And then, I'm actually curious when the earliest the Braves have ever been in Seattle, but I would willing to put money on this is it. My oh my God, make it stop. I will literally like jump out a window if it stopped the bleeding. Ronald Acuña Jr. against fastball specifically. I wanted to be clever with this one. I just want to say, oh, Ronald Acuña Jr., like hit the ball better, bro. But Ronald Acuña Jr. against fastballs has been tough to watch this year. I was texting Mitchell before we start recording. There was that bat in the 7th inning against Hadlin, one of the Guardians' many relievers who like you've never heard of, but has like a 3 ERA and it's been like really solid for them. Swung and missed at a sinker, 89 mile. It was basically swung and missed at like the worst pitch Bryce Elder threw all day. He swung and missed at an 89 mile per hour sinker down the middle. Last year he had a whiff rate of 17% of fastballs he saw. This year it's up to 33.3%. That is a weakness. He's still making decent contact, but again, if you're getting him to whiff a third of the time, like you're willing as a pitcher, you're willing to risk it. You're willing to take those odds if he's going to swing and miss. And it's like, okay, well, maybe pitchers are, like lining the corners against him. No, he's been swinging on fastballs down the middle. I mean, he's been swinging and missing on very hittable pitches. Again, same thing with Olsen. With the weird thing is with Olsen, I see like a very, just me as a not casual fan, but like me as a guy who, could barely hit in middle school, can see Matt Olsen be like, okay, I see some fixes he can make. With Ronald, I don't know. Like he just looks slower. He just kind of looks like he's in slow motion right now whenever he swings. And I don't want to put this into existence, but you do wonder about the knee. He says it feels fine, but again, he's one of those guys, like if he says it's not fine, then they might pull him out and he'd rather play, which again, we love that about him. But it is concerning. It's concerning. I will say he did get a base hit off a 96 mile per hour fastball today. Literally while I was writing this, I was like, oh, maybe I should just write about struggles more while they're playing. But it's really concerning. And if it's the first 2 weeks of the season, it's like, okay, whatever, it's early. We're getting into May, and he's putting up actually kind of worse numbers than in 2022, which is not great. So something to keep an eye on. I will say, too, by the way, so I was at the Rangers game, the Braves-Rangers game, the Travis d'Arnaud game, and somebody in the stands said, wow, I can't believe Ronald didn't hustle to first there. It was a ground ball he hit. He was going to be out. Didn't matter how fast he ran. Somebody actually said, like, Ronald is so lazy for not hustling to first. That was maybe the closest I've ever gone to getting kicked out of Truist, because I was about to fight somebody for saying that. I got very angry.
There are times, I'm not defending this fan, but I do miss the Ronald who was able to hustle on the ground balls to short. Like I watched the Didi Gregorius fielding the ball, throwing it to first, and being like, how did I not get him? Maybe like once every other month, where it's just so amazing that he could,
that was awesome,
on a routine grounder to short, hit a single. But I get it. Like I'm not. Every time there's a fly ball to right field that he has to go back on the wall for, like I really, truly, I'm not exaggerating, get really nervous. I don't even want to watch.
Happened again against the Marlins where he backtracked, he missed the ball.
Every time he does a little jump, terrifying.
Yeah.
So him not hustling to first on a ground ball to short, as much as I will miss those plays that blew my mind, like his single, he still hustles if he needs to. Like there was a double play the other night where he was booking it. He grounded into a double play, but they beat him by a step. He wasn't. He
knows when to pick his battles. If it's a huge situation, he's going to book it. But if it's like we're up by 6 and it's the 8th inning and it's like, a pretty sharp grounder to their shortstop who's, I don't know, got Carlos Correa's arm. Like, yeah, I'm not.
Like,
it's like
we're hitting it right at the shortstop, doesn't have to move. What's he gonna do? Like,
I think
hustle down the line and get beat by 2 steps.
Yeah, he still knows how to play his battles well. And honestly, he's still running a lot too. He has 11 stolen bases this year.
Yeah, and
so it's
as we were talking, there was the pickoff move, or right before we started talking, where Acuña got on first on that single, and then
Yeah,
the Guardians tried to pick him off, and through an error, got a third.
Yeah,
you know?
he's still living rent free in most pitchers' minds whenever he's on base. He's on pace to like literally match his total from last year, and he only has one caught stealing too. So he's
Yeah,
actually
he's been great. He's been the prediction that you had last year.
Which one?
The power's gone.
The
Ricky Henderson. The power's
Well,
gone.
Ricky
but man, he's stealing bases and taking a bunch of walks.
Yeah, he's got the Ricky Henderson OBP. So maybe 340 slugging though is Ricky could do a little bit better than that.
Ricky could do better than that.
Yeah.
The slugging will come. I do truly believe, even if the knee isn't bothering him anymore, he did miss 2.5 weeks of spring training.
Yeah.
And I know we're past the 2.5 weeks, but he missed that time. He might have had some knee soreness going into the season. That's only going away now. If he still has like 5 home runs and it's June 17th, yeah, I'm gonna be really concerned. But
yeah,
as long as he gets on base, I won't be happy, but it's not the end of the world.
All right, so that was our great, good, bad, and just ugly. I guess that's what people say. Clint Eastwood, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, looking to the future, we have the Seattle Mariners for 3 games. Like I said, I am 100% certain this is the earliest the Braves have ever visited Seattle. Kind of crazy. We might even see some snow. Well, I guess they'd have the cover on. Then we're facing the Dodgers. It's kind of weird just after last season, going to LA in May feels anticlimactic in a sense. I don't know when LA is coming here, but oh wow, so they're coming in September. So basically it literally is a reverse of last season because they came to Atlanta really early last season. So that's going to be a huge series. Look for us to be tweeting about it a lot, trying to get that engagement. We are verified after all. We made 10 cents in the last year. Then we have a classic 2-game series against Boston here in Atlanta. We abolished the 2-game series. Everybody's talking about abolishing the blackout. Let's abolish the 2-game series. It's stupid. I hate it. 5-game series. Let's do it. Let's do a 5. I know we can't really do that anymore because of the balanced schedule, but I hate 2-game series so much.
So if Rob Manfred calls you in to New York, he specifically goes, "Hey, no more fielders. Come to New York. We have a proposition. You will make the final decision on this. You get there." He has 2 platters.
2 buns.
On one
2 platters
is the blackouts. You can end all of the blackouts on MLB TV. And the other is abolish the 2-game series. You're going straight to that 2-game series button.
Wouldn't even think about it. Yep. You know what?
Okay.
We got to keep big cable alive. Hey, you know what? There's some good stuff on the USA channel. Okay? There's some good stuff on the entertainment channel on E. Okay? We got to keep those dinosaurs alive. So get a cable package. It's only $350,000 a year, and that's how you're able to watch local games. Like, come on, it's easy. And then, you don't even get an MLB TV package. Like, what? You're gonna watch the Brewers on a Wednesday? So yes, I would abolish the 2-game series 10 times out of 10 over ending blackouts. And then we go to New York for the first time over the weekend. New York is they're playing really well. That's surprising to, I think, even Mets fans. They technically took 2 out of 3 games against us. One of those games it was supposed to be a 4-game series, got postponed, but it should be a fun series. Maybe we get to see Jose Butto, who's been one of their best pitchers. Maybe we can actually score a run against Jose Quintana. But I'm looking forward to it. It's always a good time. I mean, even, no matter how both teams are doing, it's just always a fun series playing against the Mets. I felt like in the last few years, they've just been a great rival. But yeah, any thoughts on the upcoming series?
I am looking forward. It's always tough. Those West Coast series, because I want to watch those games, but I don't want to stay up until 1 a.m. So I probably gonna just suck it up, watch those games. Really looking forward. I've been converted to be a secondary Mariners fan, so like I pull for the Mariners, but I don't know the Mariners. I'm as casual of a Mariners fan as you can get, and we all know why. The Mariners are everybody's second favorite team now. Thank you, John Boyce. And the Dodgers series, man, that's going to be good baseball.
Yeah. It always is. I don't think anything. I don't think we're ever going to sweep them in LA again. But it's good to know that we have that, like in the tool belt, especially when Dodgers fans like start chirping at us. Like it's like golden ticket meme from Willy Wonka when you get into an online argument with somebody and you find out that they're divorced or that that they're divorced. That's like us with Dodgers fans. You know, like when you're in an online argument with a Dodgers fan, you could literally just pull out the, hey, we swept you in LA last year. And they can't even say like, well, we made it.
Come across a Dodgers fan. I don't think I've ever come across a Dodgers fan on Twitter.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I have either, actually. For the most popular franchise, or the second most popular franchise of baseball, it is actually kind of crazy how little representation I've seen. Like, I guess Ben Verlander is technically a Dodgers fan. Like, just as a media personality.
He's an Ohtani fan. He's his brother first, Ohtani second. Maybe Ohtani first, his brother second.
Oh, maybe.
He follows those teams.
The Astros are selling at the deadline.
I don't even think I know a Dodgers fan.
That's actually crazy to think about. Like, what's a Dodgers podcast that exists? Like, I can name like a Marlins podcast before I can name a Dodgers podcast.
Do Dodgers fans exist? I don't think I've ever met.
We're uncovering a huge conspiracy because like we see celebrity fans, but celebrities don't exist. Like, are you kidding me? Like Spike Lee, he's not real. The Knicks fan. Like Jack Nicholson, that guy, that's not a real dude. You kidding me?
Are Dodgers fans like the dead internet theory? Like any Dodgers fans that do exist are in their own little bubble and they're like the bots are just tweeting to each other and they never get outside.
It's
Let us
it's
know
like
if you know any Dodgers fans, because
if you're Dodgers,
I'm not even joking. I can't think of a single notable Dodgers fan.
Next episode we have to just make a title and thumbnail that's just like so egregious to Dodgers fans that they have to come out of the woodwork. But that's actually crazy thinking about that now. It's like the Avatar effect, like Avatar 2, like Way of the Water, where it became like the highest grossing movie of all time, but like nobody talks about it. Like I don't know a single person who saw Avatar 2, The Way of the Water.
I mean, I saw it, but I didn't talk about it. Yeah.
Go
and see it.
Well, you're the first person I met.
That was a movie.
Yeah, you're the first person I met who's seen it. Everybody who I ask. I need to start that, actually. I need to just ask everybody who I meet. My icebreaker questions is going to be, have you watched Avatar 2, Way of the Water? I'm going to just take a poll and see how many people have actually seen that movie.
Well, they're going to go, I think I saw that. Maybe.
I think I saw that. Yeah. Oh,
only 2 years ago.
Yeah, the one that came out in 2009. I saw that one because I saw Avatar in theaters. That was I know we're getting off topic here, but I remember I felt so cool because I was a dweeb in 6th grade, and I had a friend who he was really cool. He was like a sick dude. He was like very popular and stuff. And me and him and 2 girls who were older who lived in our neighborhood all saw together. And like it wasn't a date situation, but it was still a nice feeling for a dweeby 6th grader to be going to a movie with like 2 like girls who were like older than me. That was a great day.
I
Anyway,
associated the movie with my brother.
I bet that was a great day for y'all too. It's Sam Worthington, you know, like any movie I can see with Sam Worthington, the voice of Alex Mason in Call of Duty Black Ops series. It's a good day. Anyway, follow us on subscribe to us, like our channel. We're trying to get to 500
Please
subscribers
tell us Dodgers
whenever.
fans.
Yeah, if you or a loved one are a Dodgers fan, please reach out to us. We would
This is
love
going to
to
be on my mind all week.
speak to you. Follow What Happened to Baseball on YouTube. Also, Mitchell writes articles for House That Hank Built. Whenever I have like at least like exactly 30 minutes to spare, I catch up on House That Hank Built articles. It's
Cole,
a
do you
good
have any
time.
concerts
Great
going on
stuff.
soon?
No, I should, but we don't. So,
Well, go listen to Cole's band's music.
Yeah.
On what is your preferred?
Spotify. I will say though, I am tracking an EP or actually an album with my friend that we've been writing for the last 4 years. We're tracking that in May, so look forward to that coming out. I'm really looking forward to it. It is just, it's been fun revisiting songs that I haven't played since like 2021. So that's cool. Also, No More Fielders. You know, that's a good place to check me out too. You know?
Yeah, he's two videos in the past couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I was gonna
Or has that
release
been a
one on
month?
Thursday, but I want to get a sponsor for it. So I just pushed it back. So, yeah. My next video is going to be on the greatest. Actually, my next video is going to be on the greatest offensive trios of all time, tying into the Dodgers with Freeman, Betts, and Ohtani. Perfect timing. Maybe
Perfect
that's where I
timing.
discover Dodgers fans. We'll see.
We're not even
We'll
being
see.
facetious. This is like blowing my mind. I can't think of any Dodgers fans.
I'm gonna look at like any video I have that's like even remotely Dodgers related and just see if like people in the comments are like, "Hey, Dodgers fan here."
But even like content creators, like Braves fans are overrepresented. I feel like on the content creation span, but I can't even think of
Wait, no,
Dodgers fans.
that I just realized there's a YouTuber whose name is literally something Dodger, isn't it? Like, didn't he write a book? Oh, this is gonna bother me.
There is actually that one dude. I can't remember. He does IRL content. I think he's a Dodgers fan.
Dodger. Was this? I remember like his name was like literally Dodger Baseball or something. You know what I'm talking about? Like I think he did like gaming, like MLB The Show content. If your loved one knows what channel I'm talking about, please reach out.
We are not allowed out of this.
This
room
is going to
until
bother
we
me.
get an
This is
answer.
going to bother me. Oh, it was like something Dodger. Oh my gosh, this is going to bother me. Wait a minute. I'm going to blow your mind. We have 2 minutes left, but this is how we're spending. We can literally just stop recording here if you want to just edit this out. But I am. Oh my god! Wait. Owen Wilson, Jennifer. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna find us a Dodger. Okay, marry me. Just hang on. Just hang with me for a second. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna find it. It's gonna be the weirdest angle to find a Dodgers fan. There we go. Okay, Dodger Films. Let me blow your mind real quick. So there's a YouTuber called Dodger Films. His name is Bobby. I just want to make sure like I'm not confusing him with the baseball player. Bobby Crosby. Yeah, Bobby Crosby, not the former like athletics player, but
Wasn't
Dodger
that dude's
Films.
last name Cosby,
I thought it was
or was it Crosby?
Crosby. Bobby Crosby. The guy who I'm talking about. He Dodgers Films. He has MLB Road to the Show. You know, MLB The Show content. He wrote a graphic novel called Marry Me in 2012 that was adapted into a movie with Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez.
What?
I'm not kidding. A sports YouTuber who got his start playing MLB The Show content wrote a graphic novel called Marry Me that was adapted to a movie with Jennifer Lopez. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. I'm pretty sure he gets a credit. Yep. Based on Marry Me by Bobby Crosby. I'm surprised more people in the community don't know about this. Like, this was like one of the best discoveries I've made in my life.
I'm not editing this out. This is insane.